As a male, often when we do a spectacular nosedive to the ground, our first instinct is to naturally get our bravado on and time to suit up. Not that sort of suit. Yes, that's better. My suit of resilience as I step towards warrior mode. The only way I can cope is to patch myself together, take some painkillers, keep patching myself together, and stand back up as best I can. It's not pretty, but I'll keep diving into that well of resilience and hope I can keep soldiering through, keep standing up, and somehow that'll keep making it work. But it's exhausting. Oh God, it's exhausting. Maybe it's past the point of even admitting I'm exhausted. My resilience is just wearing me thin. My resilience has now worn me almost completely down to the bone. I've got nothing left to give. Resilience has taken me so far, and yet now I don't have the willpower to have it anymore. It's just gone. My warrior won't admit defeat, but defeated I know I am, and yet I can't understand how this has happened when I've always been so resilient. Why has it let me down now? I've burned through all my energy, all my stamina, all my willpower, and all my resilience is now gone. Only the ashes now remind me of how I was once strong, but all that is now past. The warrior is exhausted, and so am I. We often think in modern society that not enough people display enough resilience, and yet it's that very resilience sometimes when we lock ourselves into warrior mode that actually brings us slowly undone, because it keeps carrying us forward and keeps making us stand up when in actual fact we're starting to burn ourselves out. In 2019 there was a survey of 7 medical teaching facilities in the United States, and of those 53% of students actually suffered from or reported suffering from burnout. And this is probably actually a fairly indicative portrait of people that are actually being quite resilient and are then finding that the workplace and the environment they're in is just becoming overwhelming and too much for them. And of those, women were 1.6% more likely to report they were burning out. In other words, us males were terrible at self-reporting burnout and admitted to being burnt out and trying to soldier through that, not accepting help and not understanding that sometimes just being resilient isn't actually the answer to everything. So what do we do about it? Well, actually the first big thing is admitting that the warrior and acknowledging the warrior has been and gotten us this far. We sometimes struggle to step away from that warrior mode, and that's totally understandable because it has got us to where we are. It's acknowledging the warrior is now done its job and we need to step back and look at the bigger picture. That first thing of stepping back, looking at the bigger picture, and then the worst thing that anyone can offer the warrior is to understand self-care, because the first thing that happens is, as a warrior, as a person that's trying to be strong all the time, is they'll immediately laugh in your face, or something even worse, they might spit in your face, let's be honest, because you are so offended by the thought of actually having some form of self-care and some form of acknowledgement that you can't keep going on the way you have. So we have to take a big breath. We have to look at the big picture. We have to look at what are the causes of our stress, what's the underlying thing that's going wrong, and how far away that's drawn us away from the values that we want to live and the why that we want to live. Do I really want to be stuck in this position that I am? And do I need to stand back up in this position that I am? Making sure that you're doing for the right reasons, not out of habit, not out of the fact that you've already spent lots of hours and blood and sweat and tears, is the reason that you're carrying on for, to spend more blood, sweat and tears. Sometimes acknowledging that this isn't now what you need in your life, acknowledging that this isn't how you want your life to be lived, is the greatest service you can give to that warrior who has stood up and shown resilience all these times. So big picture, understanding that we now sometimes have to let go of things and walk away from things or walk towards something else, and that when we are in warrior code, we are very much that hammer in a boardroom that only sees nails as every solution. All we can see is standing back up and fighting back on, and what we need to now do is slowly work away from that warrior code. This is actually going to make us stronger in the long run. This is going to make us into the person that we want to live and the person that we want to live by, especially when we've gone through rehabilitation or situations where we just don't feel we have any choices. And sometimes that's where the warrior is at its strongest, when we don't have a choice and we've got to move and stay the course. But that's not ultimately where life stays. Sometimes we've adopted the habit of the warrior and not realized that we can now actually move past that. So it's really scary, asking for help, looking at the big picture, and also connecting with our why, connecting with our values that we want to live now. Bridging ourselves to the warrior isn't abandoned, the bridging ourselves to understanding that the warrior got us to where we are, and now we've got to let ourselves carry the warrior. We've got to make sure that we do the best thing we can, not in showing more resilience and piling more armour on top of our warrior that is rusted out, that is bled and almost to death, but in taking the courage now to stand back, look at the big picture, ask for help, acknowledging that warrior past isn't always my warrior future, and I don't have to live in resilience burning dry all the time. I can actually live a life where my courage isn't displayed every day. I don't need to be that person that always stands the tallest. I don't need to be the person that ran into the brick wall day after day after day after day. I can learn from and strive to do better and do my best on this day in a different shape, in a different way, in a way that will keep me healthier mentally and physically, and still respect the warrior that dragged me all the way to this point, because I have allowed myself to learn from my past, not be burdened by my past. Being resilient is a wonderful thing. We all need resilience, but don't let it drown you. Resilience is good to keep you through times of pain, keep you through times of stress, keep you through times where you don't have any choice but to work hard, but don't burn your resilience to the bone. Learn that you are worthy without showing resilience all the time, without having to be the person that everyone needs you to be all the time. Sometimes the most important person you can be is the healthy, safe person just to you. I really hope this helps. I really hope if you have a person that is stuck in that warrior mode, that you can show them this and share them with this, and hopefully start a conversation about how being in warrior mode allows them to get to this place, but isn't always what's going to be the best thing for their future. Acknowledging that your warrior is locked into survival mode is a hard conversation to have, and a hard thing to acknowledge, and an even harder thing to step back and look at the big picture. But you can slowly do it. And I hope this little video prompts you to think in that way, and to also ask for help, and that you don't have to burn through all your resilience and all your willpower in every step of your future. All the best. Take care. Let me know in the comments if this helped. But the most important person you can show generosity and kindness is to yourself. That way you grow back into the healthy and fulfilled person that you want to be. Take care. Catch you on the next one.